Hi there, welcome back to 10 Quick Tips to Improve Your Photography. This is it. This is tip number 10, our final one. Yes, we're done. We've gone through and we did it and we're done now. Tip number 10, which is it's taken us about 2.5 to 3 months to get this done, but here we are, right? And tip number 10 is to tell a story. It's related to tip number 9, which was move around, because when you're going to tell a story, you're going to move around. You're going to take pictures from a variety of angles. That's part of it. And if you'd like all 10 of these tips in a free downloadable PDF, visit my website, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com. And also while you're there, don't forget to download my book, Drawing Near, Meeting God in His Creation. It's a devotional book, so helping us draw near to God. And so now let's dive into tip number 10, which is which is telling a story. And these are techniques I learned way back when I was in journalism school, and I implemented them when I worked for a newspaper and worked for a magazine. When I worked for a magazine, I worked for a Christian magazine. I photographed ministry work here in the U.S. and also around the world. And I would do these techniques. And the first technique we're going to talk about is the overall photograph. That's or a scene setter shot or an establishment shot. That's a photograph where it's taken from a distance, and it's maybe, in a ministry situation, it might be people listening to a speaker and you can see the audience, the speaker, as well as the venue and the environment they're in. So that kind of gives you an idea what that is. Or when I was overseas, I would also maybe take a big picture of the scenery, because I'd also do cultural shots, and I could do an overall cultural shot. So then the next type of shot is the mid-range shot. In the mid-range shots, we get in a lot closer, but not too close. And when we do the mid-range shot, we'd photograph maybe people interacting or something going on in ministry when I was doing ministry shots or something to that effect. These would be the majority of the photographs you take are mid-range. And then finally, the next one is the detail shot. The detail shot with ministry would be when I was in ministry, maybe someone praying and I had a close-up of their hand to their face, or maybe a hand on a Bible, kind of things like that, close up, telling a little bit of the story and a nice close-up photograph. And then I would continue these techniques when I was doing more wildlife shots. Here's a series of photographs of the elk rut in Colorado. Here's the establishment shot. There's the photograph of a bull elk with his harem, with all his cows, and you see the scene of fall with the colors on the trees. So that's a nice establishment shot there. And then there's mid-ranges. Again, the mid-ranges are the majority of the photographs, taken from a variety of angles, and you get things like these two bull elks sparring, that kind of a thing, or some other ways the elk are interacting, or even something different that helps tell the story, like this coyote. It's part of the story, not directly related, but it's still part of the story. Just like when I was overseas, I would photograph lots of cultural things when I was photographing overseas missionary work. And then finally, of course, we have the detail shots. And maybe with elk, it would be like this bull elk bugling, a close-up of him, or maybe a cow and a calf elk just together, a mother and a calf. That would kind of be a detail shot. So those are those 3 types of photographs in different types of situations, and you could apply these to anything. You've heard of photojournalistic wedding photography. That's what they do. They tell a story. They do these types of photographs. They're just not doing the standard bride and groom walking down the aisle, their rings together, those kind of things. Lots of portraits. They're doing other stuff. They're telling the story of the wedding through those overall, the mid-ranges and the detail shots. And you can do this with anything too, like sports, photographing the venue and the field for the overall shot, then players interacting, or coaches and players interacting on the sideline, people in the watching the game, and going in on the details of someone's face, a coach yelling out to his players, or something showing a lot of emotion after the game, or maybe a close-up of the ball or a cleat or something, like anything, those detail shots. You could do variety of things with that. So even with a birthday party, you can do these things. A close-up of the candles on the cake for a good detail shots, or the pile of presents or cards. Those kind of things are detail shots you could do at a birthday party. And of course, people interacting at the birthday for your mid-ranges, the birthday one sitting there with their cake at a table, all those kind of things. And then of course the overall, where you get all the people in a room or a couple different rooms. So telling a story, you can do that with all sorts of variety of photographs. So yeah, so there you have it. That's tip number 10, and we're done. And just one final thought though on telling a story is, how's the story in your own life being written? Has it been written for God? Are you allowing God to write his story through you, right? And living his story out in your own life? So yeah, tell a story in your life and tell a story with pictures. So that's tip number 10. So that's it. Don't forget, you can get all these 10 tips on a free PDF download from my website, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com. And while you're there, don't forget to check out my devotional book. Yeah, I really appreciate that if you did that. It's called Drawing Near, Meeting God in His Creation. It's filled with photographs I've taken of God's creation, Bible verses about nature, and devotional thoughts to help us meet God in secluded places and draw near to Him. So there you have it. Yep, I'm going to take a little break from doing videos for a while, but I'll be back. And until then, take care, God bless, and draw near.